Welcome back to Sports Talk ATL. I am Chase Earl, joined by Jake Gordon and Alex Sword. The Braves just announced their Game 3 starter. It is going to be Bryce Elder. The only thing I'm going to say about this is maybe they're trying to switch up the speeds. You know, you had a couple guys in Max Fried and Spencer Strider that have thrown 99. Obviously, they didn't feel totally comfortable sending out A.J. Smith-Shawver, a 20-year-old rookie with six major league appearances under his belt against the Philadelphia Phillies. But I will say this. I think A.J. Smith-Shawver will be warming up quite literally in the first inning. I think he will be on, let's go watch. And I don't think I think it will be the shortest leash you will see in possible. I think it will be you walk somebody, Bryce, because that's been the big issue, right? That's really been what's hindered him at the end of the season, has been his control. He walks someone in that building, he gets that crowd going, and everybody's going nuts for Bryce Harper to come up or something like that. It will be the shortest leash you've ever seen. It might not even be AJ Smith-Shawver too. They might have someone like Brad Hand warming up to mop up the duty if he has to, just like hypothetically Bryce Harper's up with 2 men on or something like that. It'll be the short, and then they go to AJ Smith-Shawver in the second inning. It will be the shortest leash possible. And in the same breath, though, if he pitches well, he could give the team 5, 6, 7 innings. He has done it before. I think he threw 7 innings of shutout balls in his ball against the Phillies in his first start. His last start against the Phillies was not good at the end of the season. So it's really just like Bryce Elder has been a tale of two people. He was the first half guy who was an absolute stud. He was the second half guy who didn't even look like he belonged in the majors. But the Braves are kind of stuck up between a rock and a hard place. They made their decision, but I think it'll be a very, 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 very short lease.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was going to be the case either way. And I think when you look at it, Smith-Shawver's coming out of the pen. Elder is not. Maybe that was what decided it. I don't know. At the end of the day, Bryce Elder was still an all-star this year. Yeah, he had a rough go at the end of the season. But Bryce Harper, back in June had an interesting comment. He said, if that kid's starting in the postseason, it's going to be trouble. He said he has no heartbeat. He says he's very slow. He knows what he's doing. And maybe in the postseason, that's what they're looking for. I don't know. I probably would have went with Smith-Shawver, but I'm also in the camp of just let's see what the kid has. And I'm a lot more tolerant of that risk than the Braves probably are.
Yeah, I haven't changed tunes for weeks now. For weeks, I have not changed tune. I said that Elder was going to be Game 3, and it has more to do with just who the Braves are. They believe in Elder. They're going to back their guys. And who's to say that Elder doesn't go out there and shove? 5 innings, couple runs. I mean, you'd be happy with that. You can't get more than a couple runs in 5 innings, Braves. I mean, we're going to be in trouble like we were Game 1, Game 2. It's time to step up, give your pitchers a little bit of support. You're this historic offense. I do believe in Bryce Elder. Funny enough, it's baseball. It's so weird. He's going to go out and have the best start. He's going to have a better start than Max Fried, it feels like. And I'm not guaranteeing anything. It's just that kind of game where anything can happen in the sport, and the most surprising outcomes just smack you right in the face. I agree with both of you. And I think we gave our predictions yesterday. Go check it out on the YouTube, Sports Talk ATL. We all had similar positions, whether it's Chase believed it was A.J. Smith-Shawver, Jake and I said it was going to be Elder, and then piggyback A.J. Smith-Shawver on top of Bryce Elder. And it's very simple. Bryce Elder's been starting games for this team all season long, keeping this rotation afloat. And A.J. Smith-Shawver has experience coming out of the bullpen. It makes the most sense. It's where they're both comfortable. I think that's what you're going to see as well. But I think the game is going to dictate a lot. Like, let's say Bryce Elder gets to the 5th inning. A.J. Smith-Shawver's not coming in. We're going straight to our high leverage guys, especially if we get some runs on the board. I feel really good about this. I really do. For no reason. I mean, he's been god-awful in the second half of the season. There's no getting around that. And this Phillies lineup is as dangerous of a lineup in the postseason. I just have an inauspicious feeling that Bryce Elder is going to go out there and shove.
Inauspicious, big word.
And
word of the day.
In October, unexplainable things happen.
Yep.
If there's one thing, and you talk about the no heartbeat thing that I can think about through the entire season, is Bryce Elder was a man that could get out of any jam in any moment, and he just seemed to just know how to make pitches to get that ground ball out that he needed. And that's what he's going to have to do. I think the biggest key here is just not walking guys. You cannot walk people on the road in the playoffs. It is a death wish. It is a death wish, especially when you have the power bats in this lineup and you don't have strikeout capabilities like Bryce Elder doesn't. And You have guys throughout that Philly lineup that can change the game with one swing of the bat, 1 through 9. It's just like the Atlanta Braves, and you cannot walk guys. If he throws strikes, I think he's going to be all right. I do think there is something with all the heat that they've seen through 2 games and coming in and kind of throwing a little junk baller. I mean, you saw it with Ranger Suarez. Now, Ranger Suarez is a guy who has no heartbeat. He throws junk, and he throws a little bit harder than Bryce Elder, but not much. It's just a junk ball pitcher. It's a different kind of pitcher, and I expect that to be the game plan. They're not going to make Bryce Elder go 3 times through the order. I think at the first sign of trouble, they will hand the ball over to A.J. Smith-Shawver, but he's got to throw strikes. It's really that simple. If he throws strikes, I think the Braves are going to be all right. I think he's going to do that. I hope he does that because I can't stand watching them walk guys and then lose game. Coming up after the break, we are going to discuss Week 7 and the ACC.